Oral presentation 18.
Yeah.
Microbiology file of 3 infection centers, 3 medical antibiotics at a tertiary care hospital. Sananayaka, SSN Fernando, CA Vanigatunga. The presenting author today is BAG Sataranga.
The title of my second presentation is Microbiological Profile of 3 Selected Infections in Adults with regard to the empirical antibiotics at a tertiary care hospital. Infections have a significant impact on public health. In Sri Lanka, the category of zoonotic and other bacterial diseases was ranked as the 6th leading cause of hospital deaths in 2010 to 2013. And then this became the 3rd leading cause of death from 2014 to 2016. In 2017, it has become the 2nd leading cause of hospital deaths. Early appropriate antimicrobial therapy is necessary to minimize the morbidity and mortality in infections. Clinicians can't wait until they get the results, until they get the culture results to initiate the antibiotic therapy. Therefore, antibiotics are given on an empirical basis. According to literature, early initiation of appropriate antimicrobial treatment is associated with improved survival in patients. If the given empirical antibiotic does not provide coverage against the relevant pathogen, instead, it will lead to an increased mortality, a longer hospital stay, and an elevated healthcare cost. With the increase in antibiotic resistance, it becomes difficult for clinicians to select appropriate empirical antibiotic for the effective therapy of the infections. This study was done to determine the spectrum and antibiotic susceptibility of bacteria isolated from clinical specimens of adults with lower respiratory tract, skin and soft tissue, and urinary tract infections who were given parenteral antibiotics empirically. The study was done in Colombo South Teaching Hospital. We obtained the ethical clearance from the Ethics Review Committee, Faculty of Medical Sciences. We collected the bacterial isolates from adult patients who were diagnosed by attending clinicians who have lower respiratory tract, skin and soft tissue, and urinary tract infections. And these patients were on empirical therapy. So here again, we excluded the patients for whom empirical antibiotic therapy has not been recommended and who were on empirical therapy for more than 48 hours prior to specimen collection. And we also excluded the bacteria from intensive care patients. This is what we did during the study. First, we identified positive cultures which fulfilled the inclusion criteria at the Colombo South Teaching Hospital Microbiology Lab. Then we selected those pathogens and identified them up to the species level. Then we carried out antibiotic susceptibility tests. Finally, we collected information regarding the empirical antibiotic prescription from the patient's bedhead figures. We studied 154 positive cultures during the study period. 36.4% of those positive cultures were from patients with urinary tract infections. 35.6% were from skin and soft tissue infections, and 28% was from lower respiratory tract infections. This is the spectrum of isolated bacteria. E. coli is the most prevalent pathogen in urinary tract infections, while Klebsiella pneumoniae predominates in the lower respiratory tract infections. Pseudomonas was the main causative organism for skin and soft tissue infections. Here, I have mentioned the 2 most commonly prescribed antibiotics for each infection category. Amoxicillin clavulanic acid and clindamycin were the commonly prescribed antibiotics for skin and soft tissue infection. For UTI, amoxicillin clavulanic acid and ciprofloxacin were frequently prescribed. Ceftriaxone and cefuroxime was prescribed for patients with lower respiratory tract infections. Nearly 86% of the bacteria isolated from patients with UTI were belongs to family Enterobacteriaceae, or they were polyforms. And this graph shows the susceptibility pattern of polyforms. You can see here the highest susceptibility of polyforms was observed for imipenem and meropenem and amikacin. The lowest susceptibility was against nalidixic acid. Some of the first-line antibiotics has shown a better susceptibility than some of the second-line antibiotics against Enterobacteriaceae. For lower respiratory tract infection, again, there's a predominance of Enterobacteriaceae. More than 50% of the pathogens belongs to family Enterobacteriaceae. For them, they have demonstrated 100% sensitivity against amikacin. Though the lowest sensitivity rate was observed for amoxicillin clavulanic acid. For skin and soft tissue infection, the predominant pathogen was Pseudomonas, and they have demonstrated highest sensitivity for imipenem and piperacillin as a vector. And again, for all the tested antibiotics, the sensitivity rate of Pseudomonas were more than 60%. Current national empirical guidelines recommend the use of amoxicillin clavulanic acid as the primary therapy for patients with UTI. However, according to our findings, only 37.5% of the polyforms isolated from urinary tract infections were sensitive to amoxicillin clavulanic acid. And as I mentioned earlier, most frequently isolated bacteria from skin and soft tissue infections were Pseudomonas. And the commonly prescribed antibiotic for this infection category was amoxicillin clavulanic acid. But amoxicillin clavulanic acid has no spectrum of activity against Pseudomonas species. In conclusion, resistance to commonly prescribed antibiotics can be seen in major pathogenic groups of bacteria. This will affect the efficacy of empirical treatment, and this will limit the empirical treatment options available for these infections. We acknowledge the financial support provided by the University of Sri Jagannath, and then we acknowledge the support given by consultant microbiologists and the staff of the microbiology laboratory in Colombo South Teaching Hospital. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have 2 minutes for questions and answers.
Anuj, I'll go first this time too.
Sure.
Can you, now these bacteria that you mentioned, as Professor Anuja mentioned last time, are not the common bacteria that cause these infections. So can you explain why you, what may have happened to, this is not the spectrum we get in these infections. So there's something wrong or something different about the spectrum of bacteria you have isolated. What could be the reasons?
It could be, madam, as was said earlier, this could be due to hospital-acquired infections. But the thing is, we didn't, when during the information collection, we didn't consider that fact that whether the patients are having hospital-acquired or whether it was community-acquired. We didn't consider that particular information during the.
Is it important to consider that?
Of course, it is important, madam.
If you're talking about empiric antibiotics for community-acquired and empiric for hospital, you're talking about two different apples and oranges completely. You cannot combine two and do like this. You have to identify the two, because, for example, your recommendation could be that you should not use amoxicillin for skin and soft tissue infection, but that would not be a correct recommendation. But how come you know that staph and streps are the commonest cause of skin and soft tissue infection, but you get a very unusual pathogen, Pseudomonas. So what are the other possible, which is actually not even common for even for hospital-acquired infections? Pseudomonas is not a common pathogen in skin and soft tissue infection, not community nor hospital-acquired. So could you explain why this large amount of Pseudomonas?
Actually, it could be due to maybe, I'm not saying that it is due to contamination, but maybe it is the majority of our patients consist of surgical site infections.
No,
So-
you said a surgical site. Oh, that's completely different story. But even then, Pseudomonas is unusual. Were these collected after antibiotic therapy? Is really what I'm getting at. Could that be? If these specimens are collected after empirical antibiotic
Yeah, it
therapy,
could have.
definitely the flora would have changed, and you would have
Yeah.
lost your susceptible pathogens. So there could be a distortion towards the resistant strains because your sampling occurs after antibiotics. Because in this case, you did not exclude those on
We excluded after, like, if they were on antibiotics for more than 48 hours, we excluded.
So this, this is a very good study. That's absolutely a useful study. There's no doubt about it. But there are a few questions which I don't think you have really thought it through. Now, in your this particular study, in the respiratory tract, you found that meropenem is very, very sensitive, whereas in your previous thing,
Yes, sir.
in the cancer patients, meropenem didn't work, but the organisms are the same. Do you have an
Same, yeah.
explanation for that?
So actually, it's true that we have isolated Klebsiella pneumoniae in both the cases, but it may be due to, like, in cancer patients, they are exposed to antibiotics more than this group of patients. So the emergence or the development of resistance is more likely among bacteria in cancer patients. So that could be a reason. And as a part of this study, we are planning to investigate the resistant genes in both of these patient groups. That would be our next step.
Okay. Before the genes, I think you had to get a history of the kind of exposure, no? And
Yes.
you have in the ABST, I didn't see that you had checked for clindamycin for skin infections. One of the most widely used antibiotics for skin infections. I didn't see that ABST pattern.
So we checked clindamycin for Staphylococcus aureus, but I didn't include, as the number of Staph aureus isolates were only 9. So I didn't include that in the presentation. I checked
Okay.
clindamycin for Staph aureus, not for the Pseudomonas.
Okay, and I think you could have improved your presentation if you had attempted to give a recommendation, rather than just presented your findings.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.